get out the way. Who got a watch? Who got the time? I'm raising the clock. Even in my feelings, grind don't stop. Got big dreams, want bigger rocks. I got plans, you got talk. Heard it's real cheap, but it's really gon' cost. I'm trying to get these ends, build empires with my friends. I'm about hell in my business. No time for stress over bullshit. You think success is an option? I'm trying to get this shit poppin' like woo, big move.
What's up, girl? Hey, girl. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Homegirl Intervention, and happy Black History Month to all my, brothers and sisters. Some of y'all probably like, Zari, what is going on with your hair? Let me tell y'all something. This is the product of a pin curl that got hit by the wind and the rain, because I decided for the Black History Month episode, I was going to rock my natural hair and give the girls a look. And I don't have the hair texture to really pull off an afro. The closest I can get is like blow drying my hair and wearing it like that. But she's not there. She's not giving real afro. So instead, I just did a little pin curl on my natural hair, and I'm looking at the monitor. But girl, it's all over the place right now. The baby hairs. Okay, I was thinking of putting it in the mohawk at first. You know how we used to do. But I ran out of bobby pins. So I was just like, you know what, leave it alone. And the more you manipulate the hair, the more you touch it, the more it starts to embarrass you and turn into a whole thing. So yeah, this is the hair. I don't care. This is the natural form, and I'm just letting her do what she do, even though she does look a little wild. I don't know if y'all care to know, but I decided I'm going to start telling y'all the outfits, because when y'all put them in the comments, I just do not want to retype. Shirt is from either Urban Outfitters or ASOS. And the skirt this is like a split hem skirt, girl. Real cute cargo skirt from Fashion Nova, but I bought it last year. So I don't know if it's still there. But yeah, that's the outfit for the day. I have no shoes on currently because just comfortable. Now, in honor of Black History Month, I thought it'd be good to just talk all things Black in the beginning for our little hot topics. And then maybe dive into something a little bit more serious later on in the episode. And because Black History Month just so happens to be in the shortest month of the year, this will be the shortest episode. Okay. All right. I'm just playing. Okay, my first topic of the day, and this is very important. I need y'all to stop inviting people to the cookout. Okay? Stop inviting people to the cookout. One, you passed out invitations, and I don't know where you got it from, because you probably didn't get an invitation to the cookout. Don't know where this cookout is happening, but I probably won't be there. And I'm real Black, okay? For grandparents Black. For great-great-grandparents Black. Very Black. And I won't be at this cookout that y'all have passed out all these invitations to. In fact, I think y'all passed out so many invitations that we might be the minority at the cookout that you're hosting, or whatever cookout that you're passing these invitations out to. Okay? Y'all are giving a cookout pass, or whatever you want to call it, invitation to some random boy in the middle of Milwaukee that just so happens to have a little rhythm and hit the Dougie on TikTok. Now y'all telling him he invited to the cookout, but when he continues to make content on his platform to engage with y'all, now y'all think he's trying too hard. Whoa, buddy. We just wanted to see you do the one Dougie move. And then y'all ask him to do it 10, 12 times. Now he's confused, because just last month, y'all were giving him the ticket to the cookout. Now this month, he's cultural appropriating. He's confused. Stop making Daniel confused, okay? Don't give him an invitation to cookout. Tell him, oh my God, okay, you got skill. Shout out to you. We love to see it, and keep it pushing, okay? You know how many Black kids that you can pull up on and ask them to do the Dougie, and they do it just like Daniel, if not better? They're not getting any gold stars. In fact, y'all gonna say to that little Black kid, you better know that song like you know that alphabet. So let's stop doing that. Can we all agree, or are we all on the same page with that one? I don't know. I hope we're all on the same page. Like I said before, will not be at this cookout that y'all got going on. In fact, I don't know what cookout y'all are referring to. Oh my God, I forgot to tell y'all about my earrings. Do you see these? Can y'all see these earrings? I'm gonna try to maybe zoom in. These earrings are jade. I'm not sure if they're real jade. What I paid for them was a little pretty penny, so I hope they are, but these are jade and they're so heavy on my ears right now. When I move my head, they are about to rip my lobe off, but they're so cute. And I paid like a good $30-$40 for them back in 2021, and I rarely ever wear them because they're so special to me, and I think they're so cute. And I regularly ever wear dangly earrings anyway. I'm a stud girl, but they're really cute. And if somebody in the comments tell me that they're not real, I'm just gonna ignore your comment. Don't kill a girl's dream. Where did I get them? From a random store in New York, in this random shop in Brooklyn. And I was out getting my little morning coffee, and I was like, oh my God, it's a little jewelry store. Stopped in. It was an Asian lady, and we decided on these. And I also got some rings too. Now I didn't need that I have on actually, but yeah, that was completely off topic. So let's get back to it. Let's move on to something a little bit more serious. Some of y'all gonna be like, these topics are not fun and random like usual. Yes, I know. I think we should get rid of the 1% drop rule. Sorry, guys. I think we should just call a spade a spade. You know what I mean? Just because you have 1% Black or African in your blood, it does not make you Black. The 1% drop rule needs to go. Because I think it's confusing people. Okay. You got people going and getting their ancestry results back, finding out they got 20%, Congolese, Sudan, Ethiopian in the mix. And now they starting to wear box braids. I don't know, guys. I am Black. I do not know what I am completely mixed with, but the 1% drop rule is, I think, confusing people. I think Black people are quick to say, oh, girl, she Black. And that's confusing people. Because next thing you know, they taking it on as a badge of honor. Like, wow, these Black people are allowing me in their space. I'm about to go full in. Are they cooking soul food every night for dinner? And y'all are saying they culture appropriate and they trying to blend in with y'all. So yeah, stop confusing people. And if you knew anything about if you knew anything about the slave trade, you would know. We all might have a pinch because of the breeding plantations. Don't know if we should talk about that today. Might be a little heavy for YouTube. Might be a little heavy for some of y'all that never really picked up a book outside of your history book in high school. But I'm going to let y'all figure that out on your own. I'm not a John Green history channel, so I don't want to dive into all the details of that, but educate yourself, learn things, and be able to assess. Okay. Oh, the other part of the 1% drop rule, I said that I think, I don't want to put all the blame on us as Black people, but I think we have mixed children really confused. Okay. Because some mixed children, or I don't know, is there a word that's not mixed? I don't know. I don't really like the word mixed, but I say the word mixed because there's a bunch of different types of mixed. There's white and Black, there's Asian and Black, there's Latina and Black. So all of them are mixed children. But what I was going to say was, I think by making those children pick a side, like you either choose your white side, you choose your Black side, it confuses people. A lot of mixed children are racially ambiguous, meaning like some of them are white passing and then some of them are Black passing. So now, a girl is, saying the N-word on the internet and y'all like, pull up a picture of your mom right now. Pull up a picture of your dad right now, your grandma right now. And it's confusing, folks. On the other hand, of mixed children, if you are a foster parent, adopted parent, parent of a mixed race child or Black child, it is your job, whether the parents that they came from are in their life or not, to learn and teach the children their culture that they come from. Okay? Just like if you adopt a baby from China, you better learn Chinese culture. Because this is a child born and raised or born in China coming to America. Don't wash away their identity. Same for Black children. And why this topic came about is because I was on TikTok the other day, and I know y'all probably all saw this video. And I actually decided to re-record. I recorded this episode like in September of 2023, but I decided to re-record after seeing a lot of stuff online. And this is one of the examples. A white couple decided to do a private adoption through an agency of a black baby. He gets on the internet and is brushing his baby's head with the softest brush ever, but the bristles are starting to fold back because the way he's just applying pressure to get these curls to lay down. Okay, keep in mind, this is a newborn black baby. Y'all know they all come with placenta perm, aka the hair is the softest texture it'll probably ever be in a lifetime because it's been in water and sitting in placenta for the last 9 months. Brushing this baby's head, okay, and saying, "Dear Black TikTok, I just adopted a black baby. I need your black help to take care of this black baby and learn about this black baby's black hair." And the only reason I'm saying that is because he said black about that many times in the video. And then our community was divided between people that was like, "Oh, now she got an internet auntie, I'll help." And then people being like, "Yo, why would you adopt a black baby and you don't know how to take care of your black baby's hair?" I'm on the side of, I don't mind you asking the internet for help, but the basic necessities of what it takes to take care of a black baby's hair is one Google and one swipe up and down away. Okay. But now, they are in a situation where they don't have the skills to teach this black child how to do their hair. I know I have mixed friends that I've had in my life where they completely fry their hair out because they just try to straighten it so much because they don't know how to take care of their curly texture hair. They don't know what to do with it. And I personally feel like that should be considered child neglect. It is the job of the parent to cater to their child's needs. Just like if I had a baby and my baby was born deaf, it is my job as a parent to now learn sign language and accommodate my child's need. It's your job to go. I don't care if you have to walk into a beauty shop and be like, "Look, I didn't Google these products. These products haven't been working. What products do you think will work on her hair?" I'm pretty sure that black salon would help you. And hey, sometimes you just got to throw out a chunk of change to, a real beautician with their cosmetology license to get the ins and outs of what to do with the hair or not. That's just the cards you've been dealt. That's what you signed up for, and it's your job. Contrarily, outside of hair, it is your job to teach your child about their culture. And this goes for black families too, because you'll be surprised. A lot of people I've known, like I remember going off to school, segue. I remember going off to school, and of course I chose to go to a HBCU, me and my best friend. Why? Because we had parents that taught us about that. My best friend's mom went to HBCU. My dad was in the Navy, so he was in Hampton, Virginia. He knew about Hampton. And one of his cousins went to Hampton around that time as well. So we were well versed in the schools and the environments that we were going to be in. I decided, I'm going up to Hampton, girl. Yes. Like, I'm about to have the time of my life. You get there and, a good percentage of the students that go there know about HBCUs, but they don't know a lot about the culture. In fact, I don't like the term whitewash, but a lot are very disconnected from the culture, the black culture. And I'm not talking about the stereotypical black culture of like thugs and hoods and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about general like history that we all should know. I took a University 101 class with, what's his name? Dr. Kwame Brown. Oh my gosh. Love him. Best professor at Hampton. And a good majority of the people in my class, we were learning really basic stuff. Good majority of the people in my class had no idea about a lot of it. And I was thinking, oh my God, that's so sad, because I grew up in a house where I was 8 years old watching Roots and Shaka Zulu. Was it traumatic? Yes, but it's a part of my history that I needed to learn. So that goes to just say black culture has to be taught in the home, because guess what? With all the new laws that's changing now in Florida, where they're trying to retract black history out of schools, it has to be taught somewhere. And the only place that your children are going to learn it are at home. And I'm not talking about these couple little 20-something days in February where we just talk about James Baldwin and Martin Luther King. No, I need us to dig deep. And not just of the history, but the currents. We don't need to just learn about, people in the past, which is important because you need to know where you come from, but you also need to know the people that we have in place now in power that are beneficial to our community. And that's my little spiel on that. And, like I said, I was raised on this stuff. Like, When I was younger, one of my favorite TV shows was In Living Color. This was not a show that was even on TV anymore, but it was my favorite show. My mom bought me every In Living Color on disc. I don't know where she got it from, and I hope she still got it, or maybe my granny has it, but on disc, I had every Living Color season. Loved it. I loved In Living Color. I really wish they would bring it back. Maybe not bring it back, but have something similar. I was watching In Living Color. I was watching Different Strokes. Y'all know I'm from St. Louis, so I had to watch Sanford and Son. I was seen every episode of Sanford and Son, every episode of Good Times, every episode of What's Happening. Have that on disc as well. Every episode of Martin. Matter of fact, Martin, I probably seen every episode 5 to 8 times. Every single one, because that's like my comfort show. What else was I watching when I was younger? And then, you get in the Disney bag. I'm watching That's So Raven, obviously. That was more so like my culture history or whatever. But I was watching all the old stuff. I was watching Claudine. Okay. I was immersed into my culture as a child. I read books about that. Like all my books when I was little, like picture books when I was around that age, most of them were Black until I started getting off into like the Junie B. Jones stuff. But they were like Black babies in these books. So when I went to school, there was nothing the teacher could tell me really about slavery that I already didn't know, or that about my history, which I was able to recognize at a very young age that what they teach for this couple days of Black History Month is not even scratching the surface of the depths that go into Black history. And I know a lot of people are so sick of watching slave movies. Keep in mind, I am too. I don't think every Black movie that comes out every year has to be about slavery or The Color Purple or whatever the case is. But it is our job to go into these libraries, get books, and read. I mean, I was reading the, what is it? I Too Am America, or I Too Am, what is it? The Langston Hughes poem. I had to memorize that and read that in front of my family. So, dear Black parents out there, I would love for you all to incorporate more Black culture into your child's lives so that when they grow up or when they go out into the world, they don't have to be blaming Sexy Red. And I think that's what the problem is. I see so many people nowadays talk about how like, oh my God, the Black women are bad representation for us in the media. And all these kids know a Sexy Red. Well, maybe that's because that's all y'all are teaching your own children. Like, I don't know. I just feel like Sexy Red shouldn't be affecting anybody if we are not giving our children's Instagram to be looking at Sexy Red, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like it's such a small gap to close. And in the process of teaching your child about themselves and having them embrace themselves, they should also be embracing their culture so they don't go out into the world ignorant and naive. Because best believe every other culture is teaching their children about their culture. I had a friend who was Dominican and she lives in the Bronx. Shout out to her. When I say Dominican is not just in her blood, like from the time she is born, they have rituals that they do. They have songs that they sing and dances that they learn and foods that they eat. Girl, that's literally Black culture as well. We just don't implement it as much. And I think if we all decided to start to teach in our own homes and take that responsibility, our children would know themselves and know our history, and nobody would ever be able to tell them that oppression doesn't exist, because they'll be like, girl, let me name Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay. Lake Lanier. Should we get into it? Okay, let's not. But y'all feel what I'm saying, right? My next point is actually kind of funny. And I remember why I wrote this bullet point down last year. And it says, why are y'all more comfortable at history museums than talking about the history inside the museum? And that is for my people. If y'all are watching this, we go to the museum in DC and we look at all that stuff and we look at the Black history and culture, and then you're able to go home and be comfortable. And sometimes these conversations are just not comfortable, and that's just the honest to God truth. And that brings me to a thought that I keep having about how white people embrace Black culture. I have only been around friends or white friends that completely embrace Black culture, understand it, learn about it, and continue to learn about it without trying to appropriate it. They don't change their accent. They don't try to use more AAVE to be more relatable. They are who they are, and they accept what exactly Black culture is. And I think white people should be more upset that the injustices of America don't teach you about Black culture, so much so that you become ignorant to the struggles that continue on in America and outside the world. Because it doesn't just boil down in America. Having darker melanated skin in on every single continent is looked down upon. I mean, I couldn't believe it when I went into the beauty supply in Jamaica. That's another topic for another day, girl. I needed some stuff and went into the beauty supply in Jamaica, and they had bleaching stuff in there, and that was the first time I ever came across that. And I know that's pretty prevalent in Africa as well, but it doesn't just happen in America. But I say that to say that I think instead of being upset with Black people for, why are you guys always talking about it? Why are you guys, I don't see color. Instead, you should start to see color more and see how the color affects your day-to-day versus somebody else's day-to-day, and acknowledge the privilege and oppression that does take place. I think you do yourself a disservice as a white person in America to be completely ignorant and just listening to the powers that be tell you that nothing is happening, because it does you a disservice to not know your own history and where you come from. It doesn't just do Black people an injustice. It does you an injustice as well. This is not to say you get on that high horse and you act oppressed. This is not to say you do that. But this is to say that the more you know, the better a person you can be, and an ally, I guess. The more I'm talking, I'm noticing like, ooh, girl, this is a heavy episode. Are we going into Black History Month with all facts, no fiction? Yes, I guess so. My next bullet point was stop giving attention to people who buy off the culture or emulate a stereotype that defames your culture to get famous, because they turn around and put their money back into their families and their pockets, and it doesn't benefit anybody on the other side. They go get box braids, they talking AAVE, they have this fake Black scent, and they go viral. And then all the money they scoop up, these millions, because energy and engagement makes money. They make this money and then they have millions to live off of for the rest of their life, while the girl that they just copied off of is being discriminated against in her own community. So let's not give energy and attention. In fact, when you see it, don't even say hate comments. Don't even say negative stuff. Literally scroll by, report them, block them. That's what I do. I think every single time, like, for example, Bad Baby, no shade to her because she got her a coin. I remember being in high school when she did the Catch Me Outside stuff on Dr. Phil. Or maybe I was in college. One or the other. The video went viral. I remember watching it. Everybody was Catch Me Outside. They even made a little jingle. Okay. Now the girl is sitting in a mansion. She's sitting in a mansion. She made $16-point-something million. I watched her say on an interview from that. And does she still act that same way and do those same things? No. She has resources now to be able to make a better life for her and her family and her children. While the girl who is actually like that in real life has none of those resources and none of those opportunities. She's not getting brand deals, but she's definitely not scraping in millions for her Black scent. So let's just stop giving attention to those kind of things. It harms us even by giving them the negative energy of, why are you appropriating our culture? Why are you doing that? They know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. There's every media outlet. There's all type of examples. There's Google that's been around for years. They know what they're doing. They don't need us to tell them it's wrong. Let them embarrass themselves. Let's see how fast they flip that switch back on when they're not getting any attention. Let's see how long this act lasts with these box braids when nobody's commenting and nobody's liking it and nobody's saying anything. They have nothing to feed off of. They're going to go back to their natural state. So stop giving them attention, even if it's negative attention, because they are feeding off of it and they're also feeding their children with it. We know that the Black women stereotypes are harmful to Black women. The best thing I think to do is ignore it, because when we feed into it, it gives them this upper hand. Okay, that brings us into the intervention part of the day. I feel like I talked enough about just a bunch of random things, but the message of today's intervention is, if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything, which basically means If you don't have any principles or morals in place, and like you don't have any values that you hold near and dear to you, you will literally fall for anything. Don't be a sheep. Don't follow the crowd. Don't pick the easy route just because you see everybody picking the easy route. Sometimes you have to stand firm on what you believe in and really do so. And one of the prime examples is what's happening with Palestine. This is another reason why I re-recorded this, because a lot of the episodes I was recording last year was before October. And I was like, oh my God, no, I need to say this message. And I see a lot of people being very silent about what's happening in Palestine because they're afraid to lose their job, or they're afraid to be doxxed on the internet, or what will happen to them. And, they try to make things, they always try to make humanitarian things into a political thing. Like they're trying to make this Israel versus Palestine thing, like a political thing. And it's really not. If you go and you do the research and you go to your local library and you check out books that talk about the history of Palestine, and you check out books that talk about the history of Israel, the history of Jewish people, you will find, excuse me, even by rabbis, Jewish rabbis, that tell you the truth. And from then you make your decision on what you believe. And I think that a lot of this stuff out here is just trying to pacify, right? Everybody wants to go with the flow because it's easier to go with the flow. You don't want to go against the grain because you're afraid and you're fearful of what might happen. I'm not afraid of much of anything. In fact, speaking my mind is probably one of the one things that I'm really not afraid to do. And that's to also say be willing to pivot, right? That's willing to be standing firm on one thing, and then you find out new information that also changes your mind. Me and my best friend talk about this all the time. You can think you're right, or maybe you have a learned behavior that you learned during childhood, and then you learn something and you realize, oh, maybe this ideology that I stood firm on for so long may not be the truth because I've been presented with new information. And it's fair to be able to acknowledge that and pivot. Right? Acknowledge it and pivot to a new perspective, to a new idea, to a new stance. But don't just be stubborn and stand firm because it's like, well, I can't be a hypocrite. Sometimes you learn new information and you go back on it. You be like, wait a minute, I thought I knew about this and I really don't. And now that I know more, I have a new stance. And that is valid and fair. But when you don't acknowledge the evil and you don't acknowledge what's going on in order to sort of just turn a blind eye for your own comfortability, it does nothing but destroy everything around you, and it doesn't benefit anybody. And if you think, like I think, that we're put on this earth for a bigger purpose, outside of just eating, breathing, sleeping, and going to work, if you believe in that, then you should also believe in the fact that standing up for what you believe in is important. And when you are a sheep, let's talk about that real quick. When you're a sheep, you get manipulated very easily. You just follow the crowd. You have no mind of your own. And what they don't tell you about being a sheep is that you get manipulated with all the, you might get manipulated and think that it's going well for you, but eventually the herder, the leader might bite back, okay? If they biting other people, what make you think you won't get bit? You know what I'm saying? Normally, when you're a sheep, you're following people that are doing things for personal gain, right? You're following people that don't have your best interest at heart, but they make it seem like they have your best interest at heart because they need you to be who they are. Take a look in the mirror, okay? Have a mind of your own. Stand firm on something. And then I had a kind of a story time of a perfect example of a moment where I had to stand firm on my beliefs. But when I first graduated college, I was literally looking for any and every job I could find. And I ended up getting hired at I wouldn't say sales company, but it was more so like a recruiting. Okay, it was recruiting. And at this job, it was a little desk job at a cubicle. And I went to orientation. I got hired really fast to this job. I went to orientation. I did all of that. And we learned about like what to do. You have to make all these cold calls. And if you work in sales, you know about this cold calling mess. Okay. And without giving too much information on what it was basically recruiting for different schools within the area for like, teachers, CODAs, SLPs, people like that. But I quickly found out that this was a very predatory type of environment. And I get it's legal, but I didn't know that this type of job existed. So basically, I'm making all these outbound calls every day, right? And I have a database with jobs of like from these schools that the company is partnered with that are saying like, hey, we need an SOP that works this school year for this many hours. We have this many students that need one, or like behavioral therapists. We need, one for this, because schools have to hire based on the kids they have coming in. So if you have a kid coming into your school that has autism or a kid that has a special need, your school is required, especially if you're a public school in a certain in the district, the school is required to have everything in place for that kid to have a successful school year. So I'm making a bunch of these outbound calls, right? I'm telling them like, I'm talking to new grads. I'm talking to people that have been, maybe took 5 to 7 years off and they are just now getting back into the workplace. They took 5 to 7 years off to take care of their child or whatever, and they are just not getting back to the workplace and they need a job. So I'm making outbound calls every single day, right? I'm making upwards of 100 calls a day, and I'm talking to people and I'm texting people. But here's the catch with this place, right? The catch is this. The school gives us a set amount. So let's say they say, we have $80,000 from this public school budget to give to somebody. Me, I'm the middleman. So as a recruiter, I am supposed to undercut the candidate that I found and offer her $40,000, $45,000, $50,000, in that range, so that the company I work for can profit the rest and give me, 3%, tiny little sliver, which is like an extra $3 on my check or something like that, a percentage of what they signed her over for as long as she stays on contract with my company, then that's the money that she benefits, or that's the money that I get, right? And if you're a dog eat dog type of person, this seems like a cool environment because you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna sign up as many people as I can, get this extra money on my check, whatever. Zaria is just not like that, right? As a person that knows their worth and a person that knows how hard it is to be a teacher. I come from a background of teachers. Every single person on my dad's side was an educator. My grandma, my aunts, everybody was an educator. So for me to get on this phone and undercut you on this salary, it morally did not feel right to me, right? So I'm struggling at this job because every person I'm on the phone with, right? I'm doing great with the calls. I have great customer service skills. But when we start talking about money, I'm telling them like, because you're supposed to be the middleman, right? You have to be on an interview with them and tell them, don't ask any questions about money and salary because that comes from us. Like, you're literally telling them to just shut up and don't talk to this person about the money because I'm cutting you out. Like, that's literally what this world is, right? I just couldn't do it, right? So every time I would be getting on the phone, I would be like, so I don't know, go into the, what do you think about going into the district and maybe meeting the principals, just seeing how you like the school so that they can have a conversation in person and she can apply directly through the school so that you can get that whole 90K. Because working with us, you're going to get cut. You're going to get pennies for what you could have been worth. And it's just such a predatory environment because new grads don't know what to really expect. Everybody's just, desperate for money at a certain time. Everybody got to try to pay bills and pay rent. And we are preying on a certain type of person. And I didn't like that. Okay. So I was beating around the bush. Okay. I wasn't making any sales, recruits, contracts. At a certain point, my manager put me to the side like, oh my God, I see you like making all these calls. And then, let's talk about that real quick before I even get into the end of the story. It makes a very, very, very hostile work environment when you have a sales floor or recruiting floor full of people. And now, like, if you have a candidate, you have 24 hours to secure this candidate with a contract or she's up for grabs. So now if I don't communicate with this candidate within 24 hours, somebody else can take her, even though I've done all the groundwork. You know what I'm saying? And now you have to go talk to people on the cell phone and try to conspire these schemes. Like, I'm going to send her to you so you can talk to her. Like, creates a hostile work environment. Then they got a leaderboard up there like we playing freaking Mario Kart. And they like, Chad, 37 contracts this week. Chad is making maybe $3,000 extra. And yes, that is a lot of money. But to me, it ain't worth the integrity. You feel what I'm saying? Now I have to try to be friends with her so she can give me some contracts so I don't get fired. Because you do get fired if you don't get no contracts. And let's get into what happened. My manager pulls me into the office like, I see you making all these calls and you're not securing anything. What's going on? I'm just like, I'm just playing the damsel in distress. I don't know. I've just really been trying. Not sure what's going on. And after that meeting, I knew, Zara, you need to start planning your escape because this ain't gonna last too long. Keep in mind, I had already been applying to other jobs while I was at this job because after week 2, I was in the car crying to my dad every day. I would call my dad on my way home from work every day. Keep in mind, this was also in office every single day, 9 to 5. You had to be there before 9 or you was gonna get written up. It was one of those. It wasn't one of those flexible corporate jobs. It was one of those like super needy, super competitive, always want to micromanage type of positions. A lot of microaggression. And I used to call my dad crying like, I don't know, I can't do this anymore. This is so terrible. And I told my dad, like, I don't think I could do this. It's eating me up inside to be doing this to people. And 2 weeks later, I secured a new job at a new place. Which is how I got my job at Cartoon Network. I'm not going to tell you how I did my exit plan because they might be watching. Just know I collected my check remotely without working. Oh yeah, and let me keep in mind also that this was also during COVID and they weren't letting people work. Like it was people in the office that had COVID, and instead of like telling everybody, okay, everybody stay home for a week, work remote, because obviously this is a job you can do from your cell phone and a computer at home. They was like, no, you still have to come in, even though it's a potential COVID risk. Like y'all don't care about the people at all. And yeah, like I said, I made my escape plan and I exited peacefully. And while I was collecting my check for my last 2 weeks of being there, I was packing my apartment to move into my little high rise and preparing for my first day at Cartoon Network. You know, God always got a plan. God always got a plan. And you will, if you trust in yourself enough, you will succeed. Period. But that is to also say that when you don't stand up for your morals and you don't stand up for yourself, you weaken your morality. You will weaken your individual morality and your ethics when you don't stand for something. You have to stand for something. And even if you may not stand for Palestine or you may not stand for, Black Lives Matter, and you may not stand for, you need to figure out what you stand for. And you have to have the facts to back it up. Don't just stand for stuff blindly. That's why I don't tell people, oh, you need to be supporting Palestine. You need to be boycotting Starbucks, because I want you to go look up that information. I want you to know what Starbucks has done for whatever. I want you to go and do the research for yourself. Don't let me just tell you. Don't follow me blindly. Okay? Look it up, read, research, become a researcher. And then when you have the facts, there's no going back. There's no going back. Once you know the facts, there's no more playing ignorant. There's no more playing naive. There's no going back. You standing 10 toes until you 10 feet under. You feel me? Ooh, I like that. That might be my new caption. Stand 10 toes. I'm standing 10 toes until I'm 10 feet under. I'm pretty sure it's 12 feet under, but you get what I'm saying? Stand firm. But I stand so strongly on the things that I believe in that I'm willing to give it up all today, even through the uncomfortableness, even through the uncertainty, I'm willing to give it all up today and be uncomfortable, because what I know and what I have read and what I have researched, I believe in wholeheartedly. If you're one of those people that just stand to the side, pretend that nothing is happening, pretend that everything is rainbows and butterflies and that nothing's happening as long as you're good and your family is okay, you're just a bystander and you're a sheep. And I'm not going to call you any more other negative things, but just know your road doesn't last long, okay? And you do yourself a disservice. Like I said, when I was talking about white people not knowing the history of Black culture or the history of how Black Americans are to be who they are, you do yourself a disservice by not knowing the history of the things that go on in this world. Therefore, you should be living so much more purposeful and learning everything you can to be of service and to be a helpful person and to use your voice for the next person, whether that's for your own community or someone else's. I believe in unity. I believe I can say Black Lives Matter and I can also say Free Palestine in the same sentence. I believe I can say and use my voice for both of those things. And a plethora of other stances, Sudan, Congo, Yemen. Seriously. My book of the day, oh my God, super excited. So the book of the day actually doesn't exist in a hard copy. You can only get it digitally. And as I was editing these videos, I realized that some of y'all might not be buying hard copies. I love to have a physical book, as you can see. I was reading a book. I don't know how I came across this book. Ebook, very short and sweet. I can't remember how many pages it is, but it's not long at all. By Susie Qasim. I hope I'm saying it right. Qasim or Qasim. I think it's Qasim. Let me tell you about Susie Qasim. Okay. She is, I don't want to get it wrong. I believe she's Middle Eastern, right? The girl doesn't do interviews. You will barely find any information on her. I think she has a website that she updates every so often. I don't know. I really love mysterious people, and I think that's just partially because I'm a person that like people who limit how much of themselves they give to the internet or just give to the world. Very just protect my peace type of people. I love those type of people, which is probably why Frank Ocean is my favorite artist, because the boy comes out every 10 years with an album and I appreciate it. Okay. But yeah, anywho, she wrote a book called Rise Up and Salute the Sun. I'll put a picture up on the screen. And then I also put there's maybe like 10 pictures of Susie Qasim on the internet. Like, she has no pictures. The girl, and her face card eats down. I probably should have chose a Black author, which is why I was going to also say a Bell Hooks book, because it's Black History Month and y'all probably like, Zaria, why would you choose a Middle Eastern girl in a Black History episode? Let me explain why. Okay, she is a true social reformer. Like, she is one of those people that has been pioneering and doing work. And the girl's just multifaceted, okay? She's a writer, she's a director, she's a philosopher, whatever. So here's the quote from her book, Rise Up and Salute the Sun, which is the reason why I picked her. Let me read this quote to y'all from this book that I read. I read this around maybe March of 2023, last year. She says, "Stand up to hypocrisy. If you don't, the hypocrites will teach. Stand up to ignorance, because if you don't, the ignorant will run free to spread ignorance like a disease. Stand up for truth. If you don't, then there is no truth to your existence. If you don't stand up for all that is right, then understand that you are part of the reason why there is so much wrong in the world." Oh my God, y'all. I had to pick this as the book because I don't think anybody has ever read this book but me. Every time I bring it up, every time I talk about it, nobody knows what I'm talking about. And I need y'all to read this book so that y'all can gag with me. Okay. And that quote just resonates with me so well. I love that, because if you don't stand up to hypocrisy, then the hypocrites will teach. So take that as a lesson as you go into this week. I enjoyed this episode actually a lot. We talked about a lot of random things and I liked how we got into it in the end. Song of the day. It's Black History Month. Okay, we're going to do Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. It's off the album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, but the actual song. So yes, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This was fun. Kind of a serious episode. I promise y'all next week will probably be a little bit more funny, a little bit more silly, because that'll be our Valentine's Day episode. Super cute and fun. Excuse that my hair is looking crazy. And also, if you have a comment on how crazy my hair look, I feel like that's a little anti-Black. So watch your mouth. Okay. Don't forget to visit the website, www.homegirlintervention.com. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We had a grand old time. I really love these episodes so far. Like I said, y'all will get 9 episodes. So look forward to that. I'm already thinking and planning out season 2, which y'all probably will not be getting until like the summer of 2024. So don't jump the gun and be trying to rush me, because I like to take my time when I make these episodes. Anywho, see y'all next week, every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. CT. And it was amazing talking to y'all. Love y'all so very much. Power to my people, brothers and sisters. Happy Black History Month. Okay? See y'all next time. Bye.
Order in the court. Me first, you sure. On my time